Welcome to Lever Up Your Life. I'm Nate Barger. I went from prison time and bankruptcy to now owning over $200 million in real estate. I want to show you guys all the mistakes I made so you don't make the same mistakes. It's time you create massive wealth for yourself. What's going on today, guys? Hey, man, I got Trae Michael, my special guest, man. Talked to him last year after he joined the Academy in October. Trae, thank you for coming on and being our guest today, man.
I'm glad to be here. It's an honor, dude. It's an honor.
Man, so you're crushing it, man. You're 28 years old, brother. You got 55 units. You're vertically integrated. You have your own construction company, your own maintenance company. You even got your own insurance company, property management company. So,
yep, that's right.
How did you learn to do that? Did you grow up wealthy?
No, I grew up with a family of entrepreneurs. You know, everybody's just always in my family. We've been in real estate, we've been in insurance. My dad flipped houses. You know, he did all the work himself. It was just a one-man show. So every house we grew up in, it was always a project. It was always a renovation going on. We'd move into it. He'd fix it up. Somebody would come along, want to buy it. He'd sell it and start over. So I, grew up in that atmosphere. Just really, I was going to become an entrepreneur from the start. I mean, I just really, really wanted to become my own boss. I worked for a bank for about a year and a half, sold insurance for them, and hated it.
Yeah. You seem like the banker type, man. You seem like you would just love being a banker.
Yeah. I started off as a teller, and just kind of worked my way up from there. And I just sold insurance for a crowd. I did life and health products, and I did a really good job for them. And just saw the money I was making for them. And my grandpa, he had an independent agency, called me and said, "Hey, do you want to come back? Do you want to come take it over and buy me out?" So I said, yeah. So, 2015, sat down with him and put together a plan on how to phase him out, and went from there. Just never looked back.
Man. So that was 7 years ago. So you were only 21. You came in and you bought out, you took over your grandpa's insurance company. He must have had a lot of faith in you.
He did. It was a lot of hand holding for the first year and a half. I owe that to him. I mean, I wouldn't be where I am today. He literally taught me how to pay bills, cash flow management. It's all fun and games when you kind of look at, a spreadsheet and you say, well, we can do these things to manipulate cash flow, generate cash flow. But it's a big difference in making it happen and actually, managing it. Yeah.
And that to me is why we got this podcast. I want to share with people. When I start, everybody that I meet that's successful, man, most of them are not, I went to college and I did, man, they are entrepreneurs at heart, know, and somebody showed you a different way. And that's what I need you guys to realize, man, that look, you can take charge of your life. What would you tell somebody right now that's thinking about going to college, right? But their goal, going to college doesn't really tie into their long-term goal. Like, okay, I want to be wealthy. I want to create wealth for my children. I want to live, by the time I'm 35, I want to be retired, or 30, whatever. If they're 18, if they learn real estate, do you truly believe by the time they're 30 that they can be retired?
Oh, 100%. 100%. I think that, kind of touching base to the college topic, I think college is great if you're going to become a doctor, an attorney. If you've got a very specific occupation in mind, that's your goal. For someone that just wants to go get a 4-year business degree, you need to go work for somebody and let them teach you. You'll learn more in 1 year than you will at 4 years in college, in my opinion. I mean, real world experience, you just can't beat it.
Now, did you go to college?
No, I've got a 2-year degree, an associate's in arts degree, and that's only because my dad made me, get one. But I worked while I did my degree. I did like 2-3 classes a semester. Now,
my buddy went to college, and he said the best thing. He said the one reason that you should go to college is for spring break. And I said, man, well, do you know that you don't have to go to college to actually participate in spring break?
That's right. That's
and
right.
He said, man, if I would have knew that, I never would have went to college, man. So, look, and I agree with you, man. Those type of jobs specific, but I got a girl that's in the academy. You may know Megan. And she was 3 years into her degree when she found the academy, and she was like, man, I'm gonna finish up just because I'm already 3 years in. But she was like, I was like, she was like, it's a distraction. It's really in my way of growing her real estate portfolio. So when I talked to you last October after you joined the academy, I just wanted to give you some direction. I was so proud of you, man, to be so young. And I got a son your age, and I was just like, wow, man. Really proud of you, man, and what you've accomplished. But how many rentals did you have when you talked to me?
So at
October 2021, that was what, 7-8 months ago?
Yeah, I think I just got a big portfolio under contract, or we're trying to get one under contract. So I think the time we spoke, I had maybe 12 or 13.
And 7 months later, you got 55?
55, yeah.
Man, how were you able to scale, how were you able to do that so quick?
So I started, so I had capital that I saved, from additional businesses, just worked hard, kind of had it in the market. We touched on that earlier. And really, dude, I sold everything I had in the stock market, whether it was a good time to do it or not. And I deployed that capital. I bought 7 properties right off the bat. They were all value add, paid cash, able to go in and rehab, get them rented, a true burr. Got a really good appraisal because the market just it was in the right spot. And, man, I was able to pull all of my capital back out, all the equity back out of the homes, and deploy that into a portfolio through traditional financing. But it's I'm treating it like a value add because they're all below market rents.
Now, can you explain to the viewers what value add is? Because a lot of them don't even know what value add means.
So essentially, you find an ugly home and you know it's got potential, and you buy it below market. You go in and do the things you need to increase the after repair value and sweat equity and make it work.
So let me give you guys a real good, easy example that you can understand, right? So let's say you get an iPhone, somebody has an iPhone and the screen's broken, and they're like, man, give me $200 for it. And you're like, dude, I can order a screen off Amazon. I know how to put the screen on. Now, I did that. That's called vertical integration, right? So he comes in, he does the repairs. Now the thing's worth $700, right? He came and he bought it for $200. He put a new screen on, $12, an hour of his time. Boom, sold it off for $600-700. That's vertical integration, right? He did his own marketing. He put it on eBay. He sold it. He collected all that. That's vertical. That's all we do in real estate, guys. So, so the great thing about it is when he's saying value add and a true burr, that means they bought it, renovate, rent, refinance, repeat. Explain to us what that meant number-wise for you, though, on them first 7 properties. How much did you pay? How much you put in renovation? How much did you actually go to the bank and get back out?
So the first, I did it in two sections because the 5 properties I had to bundle together for a portfolio because the loan value was going to be below $100,000 individually. So they wanted to put those together in a portfolio loan. The other 2 were standalone properties that I was able to do a single loan on them. They were, I think it was $130,000 and $115,000 for the loans on those. So they would do those individually. But so I paid, I think all in I was with purchase price after repairs, $284,000 into the properties. Refied, they appraised for $411,000. And
wow.
Yeah, so got a really good appraisal. And I only pulled out 70%, enough to pull my initial investment back out. And I think we had like a $16,000, profit essentially.
Wait. So you went and got a 70% loan, got all your money back plus $16,000.
Yeah. So I have to give you the
wait. Are you worried about paying taxes on the $16,000 you pulled out?
No, it's tax free.
Tax free, baby. That's right. What the burr is, guys. So we got all his original money back plus $16,000. But now for the viewers that are going to say, well, what if you have a furnace break? What if you have a hot water tank break? That's going to take all your money. You're not going to make any money. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, well, I mean, most of those repairs had to be addressed in the rehab anyway.
Which is why I love the burr process because, guys, when you're going and buying somebody else's property, you're buying the property because it's rented maybe, but you didn't get to address all these problems. You didn't get to say, man, the hot water tank's 7 years old, man, just replace it. The furnace is 20 years old, just replace it. I don't want to deal with that. I want to deal with this up front. The roof has 5 years left. Man, just replace it. I don't care. I want to set it and forget it and keep moving, right?
That's right.
And when you get into that, guys, you have a real asset. But what kind of but how are you going to pay the bank back now for the people saying, hey man, you got to pay, you owe the bank what $300,000 or $290,000, right?
Yeah, so I just looked. So the loan is 254 grand is what the loan was for. So I must have pulled out 275, something like that. So with principal reduction and all, so I owe about 254 on it now.
Wow.
And the payment, taxes and insurance, interest and all is 1950. And so I've got a duplex that covers that. So the duplex was part of the 5 properties initially. One side brings 850, one's 1,300 because I include the power and water, trash, and internet.
And then what do the other 3 properties bring in? So how much?
One single family is 725, one's 900, and another's a townhouse for 750. And we're getting ready to raise rents on those because of the market. We're able to take that market increase. We built it into the lease, and we're coming up on an annual renewal in June and July. So we're getting ready to raise those.
That's awesome, man. So you got about $4,000 in rents on them 5 properties, right?
Yep.
And your expenses are $1,950 to the bank. And your other expenses are probably another, what, $500-$600 a month?
If that, because I leverage employees from additional businesses to kind of act as my property management company. So my management fee is about 3.5–4%. I've got a guy that's on staff as a maintenance. He takes care of all of our maintenance. So I'm able to pay him a salary instead of having a sub. Yep. So from a scale standpoint, it works out for me. I had to make a decision when I hit about 40 properties to where I was, you've got salary, you've got payroll, you've got to meet now. But I know that where I'm going is going to help me get there faster from a cost standpoint. So, we do really well from a cash flow perspective now on those properties.
So you were kind of in an insurance game and in a stock market, man. And what really made you change your mind about the stock market? Because you did pretty good in the stock market, right?
Yeah, I did well. I hit I think it was February of 21, the end of February, beginning of March, the NASDAQ corrected like 8.5 points over like course of like a week. And that was pretty heavy in tech stocks. I mean, obviously that's what everybody was doing. And I told my wife, I was like, man, I just took one on the chin. And, the rent came on time for that single family residence and the commercial property I had. And it just made sense. And my wife, smartest, person in my corner, she said, why don't you just build rentals? Take the money out of the market and buy rentals. Brother. And that's I said, awesome. That might be the smartest thing you said today. So I started kind of figuring out what that path looked like. Just properties on the MLS. Just got on, realtor.com. My aunt's a real estate agent, brother's a real estate agent. So, anytime a deal comes on the market, they send it to me because they know what I'm looking for now because of established relationships. But, that's really it. Got out the market, went in the rentals, just deployed that capital in an investment. And I can ride by, no matter what the market does, I can ride by those houses. I can take a look at the property. I can see that they're rented, and they pay me every single month.
Man, I got something I want to share with you. I interviewed, I had somebody on a podcast the other day, Josh Cadillac. He's crushing it, man. He's kind of, so he gave me something. I'm gonna tell you this, man, because this kind of like made me realize. I was like, look, man, it's real tangible assets. They can print more money, but they can't go print properties, right?
Right.
They take labor, and you got to mine stuff out of the ground. I mean, properties are not easy. And he said, Nate, I got a perfect analogy for that. I said, what is it? He said, 30 years ago, I used to do vending machines with my father. He had a vending machine company, and we used to take these Coca-Colas, these can of Coca-Colas. We'd stick them in the machine, and they were 50 cents. He said, now they're $1.50. He says, so if I would have took that can of Coke and bought it for 50 cents and sat it there, and then today go put it back in the machine, I could sell it for $1.50, right?
That's right.
300% return. He said, if I would have took that same 50 cents and put it in the bank with compound interest, you know how much it would be today, Nate? I said, I don't know, man. He said, 56 cents. I said, wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing, man. So when you start thinking about owning real tangible assets, man, it's totally different, brother.
It's a game changer. To kind of take that a step further, you keep a personal financial statement. Obviously, you update that. You should be updating it periodically just to kind of see where you are anyway.
Yeah,
But
monthly. You should look at it
yeah,
monthly, man, because
yeah,
as
yeah,
every time your tenants pay, you collect the rent and you pay the bank off. Man, you're making 500, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, 20,000, 100,000 is getting added every month to your net
that's right.
worth. That doesn't even include your appreciation, guys.
Yeah.
So tell them
Or
the
the
importance
money.
of putting together a good balance sheet
Yeah,
and personal
yeah.
financial statement.
It's absolutely important. And for me, I think the eye-opening experience for me was after I did the first 7 properties. Was able to burr those, and I went to get the loan for the big portfolio. I had to fill out my personal financial statement, and I knew kind of where I was from a sense of a net worth standpoint, liquidity. But when I filled that financial statement out and hit the real estate section on the back, and they give you like 4 or 5 places to put your properties, and I said, oh, it don't fit anymore. So I had to flip it over and attach a schedule, and
Yep.
the amount that my net worth increased just over the course of 6 months, based off my real estate holdings, was crazy. And I worked hard for it, but you can't work harder than the market. You can't work harder than inflation. I mean, you
Yeah.
can have 1,000 people working for you
Yep.
for business, but man, inflation's just gonna. It's the greatest thing ever, honestly. I mean,
If you own real estate, and
yeah,
guys, can you explain, or do you want me to explain why inflation is so great if you own real estate?
you can.
If you own $1 million worth of real estate, and let's say you own 100,000, let's keep it simple, and that real estate goes up 8% a year, that means that real estate's worth $108,000. Let's say that real estate also brought in, after you paid the loan and everything, another $4,000. Let's say to buy that $100,000 property, you did what Trae did. You bought it for $50,000, you put $30,000 in it, and it was worth $100 when you were done. So you went back to the bank, got an 80% loan. You had zero money in it. So now you took zero money because you did a true burr. You had to put some money up front to do it. You had to put up, let's say, 30% of the 80,000, which is 24, 25 grand. But you got all that money back when you refied it. Now you're getting 8% appreciation a year on 100,000, not on the 24 grand you put in, but you don't even have the 24 grand in. It's an infinite return. Plus you have the cash flow. When you really learn this, I think I told you that, Trae. I said, Trae, because I kind of went over tax strategy with you. I said tax strategy, and also, man, just the appreciation, the cash flow, everything else. It is almost like you got a printing press in your basement, and anytime you want to go get some more money, you just go down there and print it off, man.
Yeah.
That's vertical integration in the burr process. Does it seem like that? Like, hey, man, I just got to go down here and run the printing press. I want to make some more money.
Honestly, you can go as hard as you want to, or take your foot completely off the gas.
It's like a cruise, ain't it? You ever been on a cruise?
Yeah, it's awesome.
So it's like a cruise, guys. I tell people like a cruise, and here's why, Trae, because on a cruise, I tell people like, man, you can go as hard as you want. You can go on all these excursions, or you can just sit on a boat and relax, right? Go at your pace.
Still moving.
Yeah, either way, you're still moving, right? That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So
almost to the point when we spoke about the tax strategies that we talked about. We had mentioned that I had an Allstate agency franchise, and at the time I had it up for sale. So since we spoke, I was able to sell, and I think we closed March. Well, technically we closed March 31st this past year. So I was able to get away from the W-2 side of things. Now in terms of my personal income, but my wife, she used to be a employee for the company.
Yep.
Came off to become a full-time real estate investor. She helps me. We can track her hours. We can track her involvement in the company. So that really helps. Man, when we did that, dude, we were able to take advantage of certain tax strategies to drastically decrease our tax bill. I mean,
that's awesome, brother. Yeah. Now, what's the biggest thing that you learned in the academy? I mean, there's no doubt you were going to be successful without the academy, but what does the academy help you with the most?
So I think for me, it's kind of a twofold question, or an answer to that question. The financial return on the tax strategy, the actual method behind the burr method and implementation. I can't put a dollar amount on that because it's infinite. It's going to continue to go. But I mean, off the bat,
you're gonna save millions and millions and millions of dollars with that tax strategy.
It's priceless. And then also the second part of that, it's just a group of like-minded people. And that's what you need. I mean, when you get, especially for me, I'm in a small rural area. When I start throwing numbers out that I have that I write down on a daily basis that I want to attain, you get a lot of backlash from that. And so the member page on Facebook is just when you guys get in the academy, you're going to get a group of people that want to see you succeed. They want to help you, underwrite deals. They want to help you fix things that happen on a monthly basis that you come in contact with. It's just a great group. It's a mindset group. I mean, it's mindset.
And Trae, man. So yesterday, I was on there, and the guy, and I said, man, we a bunch of spoiled guys, man, because the guy was like, yeah, man, I put my 5 years in, and I ain't never got to work again.
That's
and I
right.
was almost like. But see, if you go into the large group or any other group and you tell them that, they're gonna say you're delusional. You can't do that. There's no way. Like, yeah, you can. I'm gonna go put in 5 years of work, and I'm gonna retire for the rest of my life. I'm gonna have passive income. People don't get it. Like, is it that easy? Certainly not that easy, but it is 100% possible. When I say not that easy, like Trae's not telling you about the nights where he had to wake up and he had a sewage problem or. Right. He had a water intrusion or he had a bad tenant. Like, it happens, right?
Yeah.
But if you don't deal with that for your own kids, for your own family, you're going to be dealing with that, having a job, doing it for somebody else and making them wealthy.
That's right. That's right.
So that's the mindset part, though. Once you get that in your mind, man, and like he said, in the group, if somebody comes in there and says, man, I don't have anything, I'm homeless, but I'm going to have $50 million in 5 years, nobody's going to be like, oh, no, you're not. You can't do that. They're like, man, that's great. Man, kind of share your plan with us, right? Because they know it's all possible because it's like-minded individuals, man. And that is probably the biggest, hardest thing, identifying and getting the people out of your life, and maybe not out because maybe your parents, but limiting them and their ability to influence you based off of, do they have a growth mindset or a fixed mindset? Maybe still your parents. Love them, but understand that their projections are not necessarily an indicator of where you're going to go in life.
Yeah, I think you have to love them from a distance. You kind of, you got to, and honestly, so I learned that early on, when I went into business for myself. When you do well, those around you, they're going to want to see you succeed, but then they also don't because you're proving that it can be done. And you're also validating the fact that they aren't willing to do the things they need to become successful. And so it gets hard, it gets lonely. But at the end of the day, I would rather go through that. So when my kids grow up, they're 10, 15, 20 steps ahead of where I could even dream to put them. It's just, to me, it's worth the long nights. It's worth the distance that you have to create with people. And also too, man, I mean, my wife, I wouldn't be able to do anything without my wife. She is, if I say, hey, I'm going to go take a loan out for $1 million because I think that this will work, she's going to say, yeah, okay.
She's going to say, take $2 million out then, right?
That's right. She's like, you're not thinking large enough. I mean, literally, when I go like on those bad days, when it's just, I feel like my teeth are getting kicked in from every angle, and I want to feel sorry for myself. She's literally the one that says, hey, you need to quit, and you need to get back at it.
Yeah. But guess what though, Trae? Is there an end in sight where you're going to be able to back out, pull out, and where you can see that there's a clear path to you saying, you know what, I've reached this financial goal. Now I'm going to take a little time off. Have you seen that yet or thought about that?
Yeah. So I'm there now from a standpoint of.
Wait. How are you there now? You just started a year ago.
So I've got enough passive income to cover my bills and living expenses.
In one freaking year, man.
In 1 year, yeah.
And when we tell people that, man, could you do me a favor, man? Can you go into the big group and tell them that? Because I need these people to change their mindset, man. man, like people are like, man, you can't do that. And I'm like, man, I was bankrupt 9 years ago. I got 200 million in real estate and I got another 200 million under contract. They're like, no, you don't. You can't. You're lying. I'm just like,
Yeah.
man, the one guy was like, prove it. You're a liar. And I was just like, dang, man. Like,
I know.
I hang out with people that make me feel like I'm poor still. So, you know, I hang out with people flying around in private jets that got way more than I do. So it's all a mindset thing, guys.
It is. It is. And when you get around people that are where you want to be, and they start, you know, talking about what they're doing on a daily basis, and it really it proves that you're thinking too small. That you need to kind of take a step back and say, all right, if that guy can do it, or if they're doing it, what's stopping me?
That's
you know,
right.
What do I need to remove, or what do I need to add to my life or my daily routine to create an atmosphere to where I can succeed?
Man, that is absolutely right, man. That is. So look, man, you've been crushing it, brother. You're an inspiration to so many people, and I see you helping out all the time in the group, man. I appreciate that.
I mean,
that's what I wanted to build, the community. And I was like, man, you know, because a lot of people, they'll come in and they'll do these courses and they'll charge you $20,000 or $40,000, and then they'll try to upsell you this, upsell you that, and it's like, man, I just wanted one that could pay the bills for my people. Because I got, you know, we got a lot of people that run social media, and I was like, I wanted to keep it cheap. I wanted to build a network because people like you guys that are succeeding, really, man, I'm going to have opportunities out in Carolina, and I'm going to call you up like, hey, brother, listen, you want in on this, right? That's what I really wanted the whole network for, but I wanted to give freely so others could give freely, and I think that's the culture that we've created, man, and I want to thank you personally for being part of that culture, man, because you're always helping other people, and that's the
believe it or not. Yeah, I get more out of helping others than really anything. I mean, because when you're helping someone answer a question, you know, you're kind of problem solving. You kind of have to back yourself into that situation. And honestly, I've answered a few questions, and I've said, you know what, I don't do that in my own organization or my own, you know, the way that I'm set up. And so it's helped me to go and implement new things and strategies to make, you know, my business better. And so it's definitely more take than give in that situation. I mean, you can give all the information you want and help, but you're getting more in return. So it's like the more I help, the more I get back in return. It feels like I'm cheating sometimes, you know. It's crazy. Yeah. I feel like I'm stealing, you know, knowledge from someone just by answering a question, because I, you know, eat all the comments, the thread that happens. I mean, there's stuff in there, man. It's gold.
Yeah. Golden nuggets, brother. You have to read. You have to go to a whole seminar to get some of that stuff, man. But that's experience. So what could you tell somebody, man? You're young. You know, you're a millennial. You're a young millennial too. Millennials, man, are struggling right now. They don't know what to do. They don't have any clear direction. You know, man, luckily for you, you were raised up in a family of entrepreneurs, but it sounds like you're taking it to the next level. They were kind of entrepreneurs, but you're going to take it to the next level and make it big. Not say they didn't, but you know, you're that kid, man. And what could you tell somebody that's struggling right now and doesn't know what to do with their life, man?
Yeah, so it's funny because most of the people that I hire are from the millennial age group. And the one thing that I find, that, you know, kind of across the board, people kind of want to sit back and wait for an opportunity to happen, and that rarely happens in a lifetime. You know, so you've got to be proactive in your search to find the next great thing or the next big thing. Or if you're struggling with where you are, you know, figure out what you want out of life. You know, whether it's, you know, work-life balance, or you want to get married and have kids, or you want to be able to build a big business, or whatever it is, figure out what you want and then say, all right, what's the next step that I've got to take? Like the smallest step, you know, do you need to get in a better place mentally? All right. So if that's the case, then what do you need to do? How do you need to structure your day to be proactive? And I think that you just got to get very simple, common sense, just keep it simple. With everything you do. And I think that if you can create a plan of action to make things happen, whether it's, you know, just literally, hey, if I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm in a better mood when I get to work, and when I'm at work, I perform better. I make more money.
Yep.
I'm able to save that money and start my investment, journey. Then, I mean, it's really just look at what you do on a daily basis that you could change to create a better outcome.
Man, that's
really
awesome,
it.
brother. And what about as far as like for you? For me, I try to teach people the bird strategy because for me, that's gold, man. I don't think you're going to go out here and find too many things in the world that are going to be that consistent and that predictable and that teachable to be able to do.
Yeah, it's I think the bird strategy, if you implement it well and you've got enough capital or access to funds, you should never run out of money. You should never run out of opportunity. It's literally a reciprocal process that if you do it the right way, your kids and grandkids they'll be doing it.
Yes, your
they're
great
just gonna continue.
grandkids
Yeah,
will not
it'll
have to
never
want for any
stop.
money. They won't have to
Yeah,
want for money if you set it up right.
that's right. That's
So,
right.
and that's what's important. And man, so kind of what's next, man? You've been doing this for a year. You've reached your goals. Well, goal one, you always get that plateau, and you say, okay, now,
Right.
boom, next step, I'm going there. You've reached the one that is, to me, is the most important that people get to. Okay, I never have to work another day in my life if I don't want to. I got enough passive income coming in. Now it feels better to work, don't it? Doesn't it feel better to work when you don't have to worry about the money?
It's different, like with my other businesses, they always did well. We worked hard to make sure that they were well-oiled machines, but it came with a different type of stress and aggravation, and I literally had to. I mean, I had to stay on top of 28 employees just to
That's
make
not
sure
passive.
everything got done.
That's
It's
not
not
passive.
passive.
That's
It's
active
active.
income.
It's
Yeah.
active.
That's the
Dude,
difference between owning a business and a job. Or, and Robert Kiyosaki said that. Like, you didn't really own a passive income. You just owned a job. You owned a high-paying job.
That's right. And so when I sold the company, the next week I was like, what do I do? Because I didn't have anything, to really occupy my time or my schedule was way off. But, my wife was like, well, so are you working today? I'm like, no, not really, but they're still paying rent. It was.
And the properties are still going up in value.
That's
and
right.
the amount
That's
that you
right.
owe is going down.
Yeah, dude,
Perfect.
when I had people, local people, they're like, man, why are you selling, or what are you going to do? Blah, blah, blah. I said, look, I've got enough rental income, enough passive income to pay everything to live off of. I said, and then I've got capital in the bank. I've got the assets, or the funds that I'm getting off the sale of this book. I said, I literally can do whatever I want to, whenever I want to.
That's awesome, brother. At
and
28,
at 28,
you were
yeah.
Wow, man. Your
The
parents must
bird,
be really proud of you, brother.
they are, and I've got, man, dude, all my brothers and sisters. They're all very active at trying to create a better lifestyle. I've got nurse practitioners. I've got 2 real estate agents. They're all building their own brand and business and everything. And I think the goal is to just get to a point where you can take your foot off and just look back and just take a look at what you've got. But for me, the next thing, so my goal was to get to a place where I could replace my W-2 income with my company. I got there in January.
Wait. Let's back up real quick. And I think, so when I talked to you about that, I was explaining the W-2 thing and like, hey, if you're doing the bird, man, you don't want to be a W-2 employee. And here's why: the tax ramifications. So you have 55 units, you have passive income, but out of that, setting it up with the right tax strategy, are you getting murdered on taxes?
Not this year. I did last year though, or 20 when we filed for 20.
You did in 20 because you were a W-2 employee. You weren't a real estate professional, right?
Yeah, and the K-1 income I had off my business, I didn't have enough loss to offset that income. So, man, I had 6-figure tax bills. And, looking back, it's like, man, if I had the right strategy, I could have took that 6-figure check to the IRS and put it in property, and it would pay me forever.
Yeah, because you're deferring your gains through.
Yeah.
And guys, the great thing about it, you learn a bird strategy. You're borrowing money from the bank. You're spending that money to renovate a property, and you're taking the money that you spent that you borrowed from the bank, and it's giving you a freaking write-off, man, once you understand the strategy. And now you'll have to recapture that when you sell it. But it's like when you tell people that, they're like, yeah, but you're going to get caught. It's like, dude, it's legal. What are you talking about, man?
Exactly.
They're like, you're going to get caught. You're messing with that. Like, no, dude, it's the tax code. It is 100% legal, man.
I know.
And then
It's
people say,
small-minded.
and a lot of people, man, I'm just telling you, the negative mindset, they're like, oh, well, you're ripping off the government. I'm like, dude, you got the same tax code that I do, believe it or not. You just have to understand it and utilize it.
Yeah, I mean, when we had the real estate exposure for last year, we essentially were able to write off enough capital gains from other businesses and K1 income to essentially we got a tax return. I've never gotten a tax return in my entire life.
So wait. So you created a loss. Your real estate created a loss that you were able to take against your other income, other companies.
Yes.
Okay, now here, everybody's going to say this. Yeah, but then if you go to the bank, you ain't going to be able to borrow money. Tell them how you can do it.
Well, they can pull the depreciation back out, on your revenues, and it's just like if you didn't have the loss to start with. I mean, the bank's going to look at what you have.
What he's saying is those losses are not real. The bank understands they're not real. They're going to look at them and say that wasn't a real loss, so we're going to add this back to your income. And then now you got positive income. You can still borrow money from the bank. You got the best of both worlds, guys.
That's right.
So Trae, kind of running out of time, man. I got one more question for you. I just want to ask you, man, where are you going from here? What's next, man? You've accomplished quite a bit in 1 year. And, where are you going? What's next, brother?
So we've got a few small single-family residential properties that we're burning right now. But the goal is to get to 100 doors by the end of the year. And then after that, my goal is I want $415,000 a month in passive income, net income. That's right.
So 450. So you want $4.8 million a year, $5 million a year in passive income, right?
Right.
How long is it going to take you to get there?
I think 2.5 years. I've got an idea of how I'm gonna get there. Yeah,
that's amazing, man.
And the bad thing is, if I don't hit it, okay. Say I hit a
look, man, we only got $240,000 a month in passive income. Like, hey, who cares, man? Well, I would just say one thing to you, brother. I know you got the wife, you got the family, right?
Yes.
And don't miss out on these special moments chasing no money because you don't need it anymore.
Oh no, yeah. It's COVID really opened my eyes to what's precious. And man, I took more time off during COVID than I ever have, and I didn't miss anything. I added millions of dollars to my net worth and stayed at home more. It's just the work-life balance is crucial. But my kids, I benefited more off of it than they did. But just being there for every little thing is just awesome. And why not? That's why you become self-employed.
That's right.
That's why you got to work for yourself. And you shouldn't feel guilty for doing that either. Don't let people make you feel guilty for being there with your kids and being able to go to all the ball games and all the school functions and field trips and all. Don't be afraid of that. It's great.
Hey man, so I got one other question too, man. I just got to ask this. Because I'm always trying to improve the academy to give people more. What was the biggest thing that you learned out of the academy that you felt kind of like helped you catapult to really have a clear direction? Was there anything you were missing or that it helped you solidify?
Figuring or calculating repair and rehab with the spreadsheet. I would just walk into a room and say, okay, it'll be $3,000.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, with the spreadsheet and how specific that thing is, and you can break down literally how much outlet covers are going to cost in a single room. That was eye-opening for me. It was, you should be very specific in your spend. The spreadsheet helps you do that, and it helps you stay on track. But it also, along with the spreadsheet, contracts for holding contractors accountable, making sure everything's in writing. That was big, dealing with contractors. And then honestly, I'll say this. So on TikTok, man, the TikTok videos that you do on the job site, of, you know, hey, stay on top of contractors, dude, that's gold. I mean, that helps more than anything, really, from a job site perspective. But really, that's it, man. Managing cost, staying on top of contractors. These were things that I did already, but the academy helped me to understand how I should be going about those in a more professional manner. Also, in from a spend perspective too. You know, from a time perspective, a spend perspective, it's really good.
Well, so for me, what I like to do is now it breaks. I know exactly what I'm dealing with. And then if there's a problem, the contractor call. Look, I've done about $500 million, brother. I've never been involved in a lawsuit with a construction guy. You know why? Because it's right here. Here's everything you did. Here's everything you didn't do. If we can't, look, if we butt heads, you're off the job the next day, but I'm cutting you a check for what you did. Let's walk through. Let's see what you did. I'm paying you, man. I just need you off the job, and they're happy to take that check most of the time and be gone.
Most definitely.
Man, that's awesome, man. Well, keep being you. Keep crushing it, man. I'm very proud of you, brother. Keep us updated on your result. And where can people reach you, man, if they want to know more about you and how, you know, I know you got YouTube and you got a Facebook. Where should they follow you at, brother?
So you can keep up with the company. It's called Hab Companies. We're on Facebook, and I've got a personal Facebook page. It's Trae Michael. I don't do Instagram or any other things. It kind of takes away from a daily, you know, aspect for me. But so Facebook, Hab Companies. We'll have the link to our YouTube that's on there. We're going to try to start uploading a little bit of content on some things that we're doing, and then reach out to me personally on Facebook. I'm always
are you going to be able to make the academy in September? I mean, conference in September?
So I'm waiting. I booked the hunting trip in Kansas. It's a whitetail hunt. I put in for tags.
Wow.
Yeah. So if I don't draw tags, then I'm there. Yeah, but it's literally on the same weekend. I would be there if I hadn't already, you know, paid and booked it. So I'm planning to be there if I don't draw tags.
Well, I hope you draw tags. I'd love to see you, man, but I know your passion for deer hunting, brother. So, man, I want to thank you so much for coming on, man. If there's anything at all I can help you with, man, let me know. And keep on crushing it, man. Keep inspiring other people and keep us updated on the goals. And let me know if I can help you with anything else at all, brother.
I will. I appreciate it, man. Thank you for everything.
Appreciate you and look forward to meeting you someday in person, brother.
Me too.
All right. Thank you, brother.
All right, thanks.
Thanks for listening to Lever Up Your Life. If you could do me a huge favor and go lever up my reviews, leave me a 5-star review. I appreciate it. And if you guys want to keep the conversation going, reach out to me on Nate.Barger on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And get in our free Facebook group. We got over 200,000 members. BRRRR Invest. We'll see you in the next episode.